really quick story about the national anthem. Recently, I've seen some turds, sorry, that have decided to kneel when they play the national anthem. Well, it's probably because they're too ignorant to understand where that song came from. Now, I don't know how effective of a story it is if you break it down quickly, but Francis Scott Key was an attorney. He was sent out to a ship where the British were holding all the American prisoners, and they had agreed to do a prisoner swap, the first one, I believe, in the history of this country's wars. And he went out there and he told the prisoners in the hold, well, we've made a deal. You're going to go home tonight. And they were all pretty happy about that. When he came back up on the deck, the general of the British Army said, well, we're going to honor the deal. There's one little problem. What? He said, well, you see that fort right over there? I'm pretty sure he was talking about Fort Henry. He was. And that flag up on the rampart that you guys hold to such high degree? Well, we've sent word to them that we are going to pound that fort and we're going to wipe it off the face of the earth. Francis Scott Key said, you can't do that. That's not really a military fort. There are a lot of Americans in there, but then they're armed. There are a lot of women and children there. A lot of men in there also, but they're unarmed. He said, it doesn't matter. We've told them there's an out. All they got to do is drop that flag. When that flag falls, we'll stop firing. He said, well, how the heck do you plan to do that? He said, look, he looked out on the horizon and he saw sails, ships. General told him, this is a true story. That's the entire British war fleet, man. And they'll be here by sunset. Francis Scott Key went back down and told the prisoners we're going to have to wait, told them what was going to happen. And they said, well, tell us what happened. So he went back up on deck. By the time the rest of the war fleet got there, they started bombing, shelling Fort Henry. After suffering multiple hits on the flag, it was tilted at a weird angle, but it wouldn't fall down. Well, he couldn't see it through the smoke. And then through the rocket's red glare, it would illuminate, and you could see the flag was still standing. And all the guys down in the hold, the prisoners said, tell us the flag is still there. Sorry. He said, yeah, it's still standing. So they decided to train, after hours of this, train all their cannons on that flag. And they dumped cannonballs on that flag and couldn't figure out why it was still standing. It would lean and straighten up. So at dawn, the shelling stopped. Francis Scott Key went into Fort Henry, and here's what he found out. Now, he'd been standing on the ship, remember, writing that poem that turned into our national anthem. Through the rocket's red glare, yeah, the bombs bursting in air. The red glare was the only thing that gave him light that he could see the flag. When he got in there, what did he find? He found out why the flag was still standing. That flag had suffered direct hits, and it fell. Hundreds of Americans would run over and hold it up. More shelling. They'd hold it up until they were dead. Then more Americans would run over and hold the flag up. The reason why the flag, when the shelling stopped, was tilted, it was being held up by a pile of dead American bodies. How dare you not stand for that national anthem? I respect people's First Amendment right. You want to protest, protest. But find a way to do it. I'll tell you what, I don't care where I am. If you don't stand for that song, it better be because you have a broken leg or I'm going to give you one.